In the history of each state, in the memory of every small town, there are ghosts. Not those who wander around abandoned houses, but those who live in white spots on the map, in questions that have remained unanswered. Today we will tell you about one such ghost, about a boy who disappeared from the face of the earth in the time it takes you to read this sentence. This is the story of Levi Kettler, a story that challenges all logic. Chapter 1, Ordinary Morning. The morning of August 23rd, 1937 in Noble County, Indiana, was the same as always. The air, still cool after the night, promised a clear and hot day. 5 children woke up on the Kettler family farm. 5-year-old Levi was among them. He had blonde hair, freckles, and a lively, curious look. It was the same child who could be seen in any yard with a sword stick or running after a chicken. That day he had an important event, his first day at school. Or rather, not quite the first one. He had to go with his brother to sign up. Levi was waiting for this moment. He proudly put on his new overalls and shirt. His older brother, 11-year-old Edward, had to look after him. But this day, which began with such hope, will be the last when Levi Kettler is seen alive. And the circumstances of his disappearance are so simple and at the same time impossible that to this day, Chapter 2, that very moment, the brothers left the house and headed to the place where the school bus was supposed to pick them up. It was only 200 meters from the Kettler family's house. The place was absolutely open, a field with tall grass and millet stretching to the horizon. Not forests, not ravines, not shelters. Just a field. Levi and Edward stood at the edge of the road. While they were waiting, Edward turned away for a second. Later, he will testify to the investigators, and his words will make even the most hardened detectives shudder. I heard the bird's cry, turned around to look, and when I looked at it again, he was gone. 1 second, less. Levi Kettler, who was standing in the open space, literally evaporated. Edward, at first thinking that his brother was hiding in the grass, started calling him. Silence was his answer. Chapter 3, Fruitless Search. What began as a family alarm quickly grew into one of the largest search operations in the history of Indiana. On the same day, hundreds of volunteers were raised. They lined up in a chain and combed every inch of that field. They trampled the grass, looked under every bush. They checked the wells, ponds, and any possible pit. The next day, the National Guard and planes joined the search. The pilots flew over the fields at low altitude, hoping to see at least some trace. The searcher dogs were brought to the place, and here the first strangeness begins. The dogs took the trail. They confidently ran away from the place of disappearance. And after a few hundred meters, they just stopped. The trail broke off, as if Levi had risen into the air. It was impossible. It contradicted all the laws of nature. The search continued for weeks. They combed the territory within a radius of 20 miles. But not a piece of his new clothes, not traces of struggle, not a single clue. Chapter 4, Theories and Dead Ends. Investigators were at an absolute dead end. And then theories began to be born. Theory 1, kidnapping. The most logical. Perhaps a car was passing by and a stranger grabbed the boy. But where are the evidence then? Edward didn't hear the creak of tires or screams. The dogs didn't smell strangers. And how can you kidnap a child from the open field in broad daylight so quickly and silently? Theory 2, natural factor. Someone suggested that the boy could have been attacked by a pack of vultures or wild pigs. But experts immediately rejected it. Such animals would not be able to hide the body without a single trace, especially without touching the clothes. Theory 3, family involvement. Of course, the police carefully studied the family, but they had no motive or opportunity to do it. The alibi of parents and brother was firm. There were no signs of domestic violence. This version quickly dropped out, and then when all logical versions are refuted, theories are born. The locals started whispering about strange things, about the fact that it was always bad on that field, that on the day of disappearance, someone saw strange lights in the sky. There were rumors about the portal, about the intervention of inexplicable forces. Of course, the investigators have no evidence for this, but they can't refute this theory. In the case of Levi Kettler, the impossible became the only possible explanation. Chapter 5: Ghost in Memory. Years have passed. Levi Kettler's case was officially closed, but it was never revealed. His parents lived in the same house for the rest of their days, hoping that one day their boy would come back. He remained a 5-year-old, frozen in time. What happened to Levi Kettler that morning? Was it a cunning and lucky criminal whose crime was so perfect that it did not leave a single trace? Or have we encountered something that our consciousness refuses to accept? This story reminds us that the most terrible secrets are often hidden not in dark forests, but in the bright sun, that the usual world can change in an instant, and that sometimes ghosts become not those who died, but those whom we simply cannot find. The field in Indiana has long been overgrown. The Kettler's house may not be worth it anymore, but the question that sounded in the quiet morning air on August 23, 1937, still hangs unanswered. Levi, where are you?